Hey guys, I'm Trina and today I'm going to be doing a book review over The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a wildly popular book right now, or it was a couple months ago when it came out. And I actually gave this a 2-star rating. I didn't love it all that much. It is never ever my intention to dissuade anybody from picking up a book that you were interested in just because I didn't like it, but I do enjoy being able to give a full review on books I didn't like because I can explain why I didn't like them, and then as a viewer, hopefully that will help you determine if it's something that you might want to pass on or wait on, or maybe you love the things that I'm pointing out as stuff that I didn't love, and maybe that'll help you determine that you want to bump this up your TBR and read it right away. I first picked up The Wrath and the Dawn at the very beginning of August, and I read about halfway. I think I got to page 250, and then it's a library book, so it was due back at the library, and I just did not feel intrigued enough by what was happening in the story for me to want to continue reading it. So I sent it back to the library, and then I got it again from the library this month, and it just sat there on my shelf for a long time. The further I got away from it, the less I cared about how that story ended up. Kind of do experience some book guilt when I don't finish books. So then I decided to get the audiobook version of it so that I could listen and that would help me get through it quicker. And that is how I finished the last half of the book. And I still just was not very impressed. So The Wrath and the Dawn, if you don't know what it is about, it is a retelling or inspired by the classic tale Arabian Nights or 1001 Nights. The plot of this book is that there is a king who marries a new girl every day, and the next morning she turns up dead. So he is killing all of his brides, and his latest bride was the best friend of our main character. So our main character volunteers to be his newest bride, hoping that she can just get into the palace and murder him to get revenge for him killing her best friend. And the premise of the original 1001 Nights tale was pretty much the same. There was a king that marries a new girl every day and kills her that night, and the main character Shahrazadeh would tell him tales every single night and end on a cliffhanger so that he would want to keep her alive for another day so that the next night when he came to visit her chambers, she would continue the story. I had very little knowledge of the original story outside of Aladdin and just that premise of the girl telling the story every night. I knew that about it way before I read this book. So when I went into this book, that is the first half of the book. That is what's happening. She's telling him the stories every night. It really did not deviate from that original premise, and I was really bored with it because a retelling needs to keep things new. And perhaps this book kind of gets away with it for a lot of readers because I hear a lot of people who love The Wrath and the Dawn saying that they had never heard of Arabian Nights, they had no idea what it was about. So I guess if you had no idea, that alone kind of would be a pretty exciting premise, but even with my very vague knowledge of that tale, I kind of found that it didn't deviate enough to really keep me interested. About halfway through, more of a romance starts to develop between the main characters, and I just didn't really see why. It's that show not tell thing. I want to be shown the progression of a relationship and the feelings that you are developing. I don't want to just be told, hey, all of a sudden I'm feeling this way. I wonder why. It's a very classic hate turned into love scenario, but without an explanation of where that turning point actually happened. And so I just felt zero attachment. There's also a love triangle present in the book, which I don't really see why it needed to be there. I felt like I had read it a million times. The plot with the I've got to marry the bad guy but I plan to kill him is very reminiscent of the book Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. It's also very similar to A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, where someone is taken captive by someone else that they wish that they could kill, and then they end up kind of falling for them. So I feel like I've read that story 1001 times. It just didn't strike me as different. I will say that in the end, plot-wise, there are a couple of moments where the main characters reveal like everything to each other. They basically lay out the truths, some stuff kind of comes to light, and that was interesting. By the end, I did feel a bit invested, and the ending is exciting enough that I think that if you were able to form a strong investment with the characters, that it would be enough of a cliffhanger that you would really want to finish out the series. But for me, that ending just wasn't enough. It did not make up for the rest of the book. I have also heard a lot of people talk about the writing in The Wrath and the Dawn, and they say that the writing is just very beautiful and very descriptive. I kind of saw that as it stands out as more descriptive than normal because this is a Persian, Middle Eastern setting. So the descriptions were different, but they didn't stand out to me as anything above and beyond what I normally read, but I will say that when I switched to the audiobook, I was realizing like, whoa, these descriptions are really beautiful. So I will say that if you love vivid descriptions and variety in your scenery, I think that you would really like the descriptions and the writing in this book. But as far as the characterization, I didn't feel like the writing set the characters apart any, besides maybe their physical appearances, because this is a very diverse book. The author, the characters, the setting. I am very grateful and happy to be getting diversity in books, but I don't think that a book can sail 5 stars on diversity alone. But I gave it 2 stars because I do respect this book. I loved the setting. Like I said, the descriptions were very beautiful and flowery, and the tropes of the love triangle and the hate turned to love, they didn't work for me in this book, but they are the exact same thing that are present in so many other YA and even adult books that I do love, that I don't count as cons of other books I love. So I really can't explain what went wrong for me this time, why I wasn't connecting. For whatever reason, it just wasn't working for me. I do feel like this book has appeal to other readers, so I didn't want to just give it a 1 star and make it look like I totally hated the book. It didn't like give me hives or make me nauseous to think about picking the book up again. I didn't flat out hate it. So I didn't think it deserved the bottom of the barrel rating, but for me, I just really didn't enjoy the story. It did not live up to the hype. Yeah, I think that that's really all that I can say about it. I'm really sad that it didn't work for me because I wanted to like it. I've heard so many great things. I love the setting. I really wanted to like the story too, but it just wasn't one for me. And obviously not everyone is going to feel the same about it as I did, so I would still definitely encourage you to pick it up if it's something that you were interested in. And if you've read it, please let me know what you thought of it down below. We can discuss further. We can talk about spoilers in the comments if you would like to. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!